Good Friday morning, and thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF and Beltima Fungicide. The proven number one for the toughest corn diseases with long-lasting residual when you need to be confident your fungicide will perform. I'm Joe Everett. Currently 56 degrees outside here at the farm this morning. Looks like we stayed dry today, but some rain moving into the Buckeye State. We'll have your full forecast update for you shortly. News now at ohioagnet.com. Evaluating crops after wet weather can be a challenge. However, knowing what to look for can help remove some of the stress in the decision-making process. Then Ohio beef producers will have the opportunity to learn more about the growing concerns surrounding tick-borne diseases during a series of educational programs hosted this summer by the Ohio State University Extension Beef Team. And we get the details on the 2026 Wheat Field Day. That's all coming up on today's news feed, delivered to you by Ebert's Field Seeds. Proven local seed performance to Ohio farmers. It's time to start planting Ebert's. Call us at 937-473-2521 or visit online at ebertseeds.com. Ohio wheat growers are invited to attend the annual Ohio State Wheat Field Day on June 17th at the Western Agricultural Research Station in South Charleston. The event will feature the latest wheat research from Ohio State University and Ohio Corn and Wheat, including updates from the Wheat to Beet project, practical crop management information, and equipment demonstrations from Caning Equipment. Special guest Dr. Grant Gardner from the University of Kentucky will discuss wheat profitability and take part in a farmer and specialist panel discussion. The free event begins at 8:30 a.m. and includes a complimentary lunch sponsored by Ohio Corn and Wheat. Organizers are asking participants to RSVP by June 10th to guarantee a meal. Registration is available online at goosu.edu/wheat26. Ohio beef producers will have several opportunities this summer to learn more about tick-borne diseases and their impact on cattle herds. Ohio State University's Extension's Beef Team is hosting a series of free educational meetings focused on combating tick-borne pathogens. Extension specialists and veterinarians will discuss disease identification, management strategies, and answer producer questions. Programs are scheduled June 16th in Zanesville, June 25th in Jeromesville, and July 13th in Stewart. Organizers are asking attendees to RSVP at least 1 week in advance, and for more information, you can find it available through Ohio State University Extension's Beef Program website. Let's get a check on today's forecast, and as we head into the weekend, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's Ryan.
A final, completely dry day settling in over Ohio today. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with that Ohio Ag Weather Update. As we say dry weather holds here, we're watching to the north and west as significant rain and thunderstorm action is trying to build into Michigan, especially this afternoon. And I think after midnight tonight, we have to watch for a little bit of that scattered shower and thunderstorm action to sneak into northwest Ohio. The rest of the state, not so much. The rest of the state, I think, deals with the secondary batch of moisture sagging southward through probably tomorrow afternoon, evening, and into the overnight. Only about 40 to 50% coverage on that, a tenth to half an inch. That's all. We're definitely dialing back moisture the farther east you go in this setup. The rest of the weekend is dry here going into next week. Monday, few scattered showers early in far western tier counties of the state, but I think we'll wait till Tuesday, Wednesday to see on again, off again moisture over more of the region, and that's going to top out probably at half an inch once again. I'm Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Farmers evaluating crops after recent weather challenges are encouraged to take a closer look below the soil surface before making replant decisions. Amanda Swartz, technical agronomist with DeKalb Asgrow, says digging up plants and examining the root system can reveal much more than above-ground symptoms. She recommends waiting 48 to 96 hours after a frost or flooding event to allow crops time to recover before evaluating stand losses. Swartz says producers should look for healthy white root tissue and monitor stand counts over time. She also notes that cool, wet conditions early this spring increase the risk of seedling diseases. To learn more on this topic, you can find the full article today at ohioagnet.com. News now making national headlines. USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins told the House Ag Committee that a massive USDA effort is underway to halt the spread of the New World screwworm found in the United States for the first time in 45 years. Rollins says USDA is using every tool possible to stop the New World screwworm, starting with a 20-kilometer perimeter near the infected calf in Texas.
around the detection and implementing quarantines, movement controls, and surveillance in the region. In fact, I'll be there next week. We have expedited a targeted release of sterile flies in the affected area to prevent the pests from reproducing and are increasing trapping for New World screwworm flies along the border.
Rowland stressed that the pest eliminated from the United States more than 4 decades ago poses no threat to food safety, though it's a big concern to the cattle and dairy industry. She insisted USDA was prepared as the New World screwworm made its way up from Central America through Mexico, but conceded efforts to produce 400 million sterile flies fell short.
We as a country, we as a hemisphere had taken our eye off the ball, thinking it was eradicated. We got down to only 100 million sterile flies in production a week in a facility in Panama.
Rowland says the president greenlighted a $1 billion effort, including a new facility, the largest in the world, being built in Mission, Texas, but it won't be ready for months.
That facility will come online next year. When it does, it'll produce about 300 million flies per week, in addition to the 100 million from Panama. And then we outfitted an additional Mexican facility for another 100 million.
But until the needed number is reached, Rowland said trapping, surveillance, and veterinary drugs headed to Texas on Thursday will be key. Cattle and dairy groups said USDA is using time-tested methods against the screwworm, while the National Milk Producers Federation urged officials to use caution in restricting cattle movement that could cost more than the screwworm itself. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more as the Ohio AgNet continues.
Be aware, ticks are there. As you head outdoors, remember to avoid tall grass, wear light-colored full-coverage clothing, and use EPA-registered repellent. Be sure to thoroughly check for ticks after you head in for the day. If you find any ticks, remove them carefully with tweezers and watch for symptoms such as fever, headache, or rash. For more information on ticks and tick bite prevention, head over to ohio.gov/ticks.
Wake up, Ohio farmers! Ohio's Country Journal is bringing the coffee to you. We're stopping by rural coffee shops, diners, and your favorite morning gathering spots across the state. And while we're there, the first 25 folks through the door get a free cup of coffee, a limited edition Ohio's Country Journal mug, and the latest issue of OCJ, all on us. Want us to visit your hometown hangout? Head to ocj.com/coffee shop and sign up your local spot today. Brought to you by Leist Mercantile and Ohio's Country Journal, your source for Ohio farm news.
You're tuning in on the Ohio AgNet. I'm Joe Everett. We now turn to Joel Penorwood for an update on farm safety in today's featured audio.
Joel Penorwood here for the Ohio AgNet. With us today, it's great to have Dr. Dee Jepsen. She's a professor of agricultural safety and health at The Ohio State University. And it's really timely that we talk to her because she was showing me some statistics, and we'll pass this along to you folks at ohioagnet.com, regarding agricultural safety, specifically with tractor accidents, and how much that impacts and how much that affects people on Ohio farms, and specifically this time of year. Dr. Jepsen, thank you so much for being here with us. Let's talk about it. It's good to remind ourselves of ag safety and specifically safety around tractors.
Yeah, tractors are certainly our number one enemy when it comes to our farm statistics. When you have a tractor plus the towed implements, or if you're working with any other type of machinery that the tractor is operating, 60% of our fatalities in Ohio are contributed to tractors and machinery. And so it's hard to ignore that one fact, that tractors, which, every farmer has at least one of them, right? And it doesn't matter whether you're raising strawberries or emus or out on the plains, we all need our tractors. And they have been a great technology as far as, going from the horsepower that we have to feed hay to the horsepower, under the hood. So we need these pieces of equipment, but we also need to think about the safety when we're around them.
It's really easy to think, say, oh, I don't need that, or I don't need to put my safety belt on, or other situations like that. But my goodness, I think we've all known somebody. One of us, I can think of a situation where I've been in, where afterwards it was a pretty tense moment. I go, my goodness, I could have avoided that. What are some conversations you have with farmers?
Yeah, the first conversation is 60% of the fatalities that do happen to tractors happen in a rollover event. And so when you think about what we could, what could prevent some of these, maybe not prevent the rollover, but the outcome after a rollover. So if we are working in a cabin closed vehicle, or one that has a 2-post ROPS or one of those foldable ROPS, that we put those roll bars in place and lock them in place. And then we have to wear our seatbelt. And if we look around, not just the country, let's look around the world, there is not one fatality that has happened when a farmer is in the seat with the buckle. Now, I have to back up a minute, right? Because that was a pretty bold statement that these are like 99.99% effective. There were 2 cases in Scandinavian countries, but when we looked at that, the ROPS did not match the manufactured machine that it was on. So it was more of an equipment error. So we're still going to go back to, we could save a lot of lives if we wore those seatbelts while we were in the tractor.
So we've talked about rollovers, but there's some other pieces to the puzzle there. Ohio's roadways are becoming much, much busier, it feels like, or there's more distracted driving as well. Whatever it is, we have to be cognizant of that and be aware that collisions happen.
Yes, we are in a very populous state, right? And so when you look at Ohio's data on the roads of crash reports, we rival and we often exceed what the national statistics are. We share the road with drivers who don't understand us and the farmers. And, so having a lot of lights, if you are so inclined and able to have escort vehicles to help you, especially when you're making that left-hand turn into a field, when everyone thinks that you're slowing down, that they can pass now. These are part of our problems. We understand as motoring publics, we need to do a better job educating the public. But then as farmers and sprayers, and we have so much equipment out on the road, we need to make sure it has the correct lighting and it's carrying that SMV emblem, because that little emblem developed at Ohio State University has been around to remind everyone that this machinery is going slow and you need to start slowing down.
Stay safe out there on the farm doing the good work. Ohio Agriculture. Dr. Dee Jepsen joining us here today. She's professor of agricultural safety and health at The Ohio State University, and this is the Ohio AgNet.
Hey, thanks, Joel. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more as the Ohio AgNet continues.
Whether you're in the fields or on the farm, creating a safer work environment has never been easier. BWC's safety consulting services are included with your policy premiums and offer training and education for everyone in your farming operation. It's always the right time to make safety a priority. Visit bwc.ohio.gov or call 1-800-644-6292. The Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation, here to help you work safely.
Attention construction pros. Purple Wave Auction brings quality equipment to your fingertips. Join our bi-weekly online auctions featuring dozers, excavators, loaders, and more. We provide detailed listings, photos, and seller contact info. Inspect online or in person. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com today and see why informed builders choose Purple Wave. Transparent processes, real deals, your next great purchase awaits. purplewave.com.
Welcome back on the Ohio AgNet. I'm Joe Everett. It's now time for today's market analysis, which is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to bring the brand new soybean crush facility to Upper Sandusky. Learn more about marketing your soybeans with LDC at 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets sharply lower in Thursday trade, led by a 25-cent fall off in soybeans. Now, the good news is at one point it was 30-plus cents lower, so we fought back at the end. Corn down about 7 to 8, wheat down 3 to 8 cents overall across Chicago, Kansas City, Minneapolis markets. Here's the crux of the talking points from the Thursday trade. Trade declines accelerated through the day because traders were starting to debate China's actual purchase of 25 million metric tons for this upcoming crop year. Why? Because the U.S. raised its tariffs under Section 301. Now, most in the industry, or at least 50% of the industry, don't think the new tariffs damage the China trade deal, but that was the concern through the trading day. It's just like reasonable doubt in a trial. You just sow that little seed of doubt and it all goes away. Well, there's a seed that was in the trade yesterday that maybe we were messing up future Chinese trade purchases this fall. I'm Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Now let's take a look at your overnight trade brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. July corn 422 1/4 down 2 1/4. July soybeans 11.30 down a half. As we look to livestock from yesterday's close, June live cattle 249.17 up $2.55. June lean hogs 95.30 down 75 cents. and September feeder cattle 350.07, up $10.75. You're listening to the Ohio AgNet.